Morning. Well, it's day 54 of my meds journey. It's been about 3 hours since I took my medication, so it's about quarter to 11, something like that. And I'm doing all right this morning. Not too bad. I'm slightly drained from last night, um, but I'm not feeling too bad, really. So yeah, quite good spirits I think today, which is good, and the weather's nice anyway. Um, but yeah, I wanted to kind of share something in terms of how have actually been feeling, and that is that I've realised that this whole sort of journey, this whole process of getting to grips with sort of psychological issues it's a real eye opener, and once I started to actually discuss things and be open about things, it's amazing how many people have actually come forward to me and said, you know what, I've actually felt like that as well, you know, and suddenly I don't feel quite so alone anymore and quite so isolated, which is nice. And I feel as though I can tell people anything, you know, and they understand it. Well, on the surface they appear to understand it anyway. Whether they do in reality is a different story, but for the vast majority of the time I think it is actually pretty genuine. You can always tell when somebody is genuinely trying to be supportive of your situation. Um, and I think the campaign at the moment that's going on with mental health groups, to get men to open up more about their issues, I think it's a really, really good thing. Because I mean, let's face it, there is a bit of a gender bias when it comes to discussing mental health. There is, and I've mentioned this quite a few times in my blog entries on Talking Saves Lives, where if a woman, say if she comes into work one morning and she's got her head in her hands and obviously she's distressed, people will think, oh, what's up, let's go and see if we can try and boost her spirits or try and talk to her and get her to open up about what's happening. But by the same token, if a guy comes into work and he does the same, and he feels the same way, and he's displaying that same kind of distress, people will almost laugh at them. People will almost laugh at a guy for doing that, saying, "Oh, he's a pussy. He's a wimp. He needs to man up. And all this kind of thing." And men do need to open up more. Perhaps if men actually did open up more, perhaps there wouldn't be so many men in prison for things like domestic violence or drugs or burglary or anything like that, because that anger that they feel would be expressed in the right way, And that's the thing traditionally with men, that their role in society has traditionally been hunter-gatherer, strong, silent type. Or in the case of, a lot of mental health campaign groups, there is a slogan that's going around at the moment, which I've mentioned before, the strong, silent, dead type. Because that's the big distinction in mental health issues, between either gender. Women will be able to get through it a lot quicker and a lot easier, and they tend to seek the help at a much earlier stage than men, because they know that they can, in the sense that they know that society will support them in that. Whereas with men, they're supposed to be, strong, silent type, as I've just said. But the problem with that is, and people have actually said this to me, they've said men are supposed to calm women down, not the other way around. And it's like, well, okay, if that's true, where are men supposed to go to if they need help? Because we're all human beings, and it doesn't make you, I've said it before, it doesn't make you weak or a wimp or or pathetic. If you do feel like that and then you do decide to seek help, I tell you what is pathetic, buying into this whole idea that men have to be a certain way and women have to be a certain way. Who says? We have got such a thing as free will, We have got our own minds. We have got our own brains to think about things and reason with things ourselves, And that's the thing that really pains me. It's like grow up, with men they always get the same reaction. Grow a pair, man up, get over it, all this kind of stuff. And it has to stop. Because between the ages of, say, 20 and 30 and 40 and 50, right, those are the two age groups amongst men that have the highest suicide rates. And men are far more likely to commit suicide than women. They are. Now, I am not at that stage at all. No, I'm nowhere near. Just to be on the, I have no desire to want to end my life. I just want it to get better, and I want to live as long as I can and stay as strong as I can for as long as I can. But inevitably, with such a journey like this one, you are going to have low points and you are going to feel down, and you are going to get to a point every so often where you think, I can't do this. I can't. I don't know what to do. I don't know where I'm going wrong. I don't know what to do about it. I don't know where to seek help. This, that and the other. But then sooner or later, you sort of find a way. You know that old saying, don't you? You never know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice that you've got. And it's the truth. When that's the only thing that you've got left to latch onto, then you do become strong. But along the way, there are going to be pitfalls. There are always going to be pitfalls. And yes, I might sound really coherent and articulate when I'm talking right now. But deep down I might be feeling completely differently. I'm not saying that I'm putting on a front, but that kind of thing happens. And yes, I have been guilty in the past of putting a brave face on and kind of leaving my emotions to one side and that kind of thing. And I was having a conversation with a friend about this kind of subject the other day, and it was an interesting conversation, and actually, we did have some slight differences from each other in terms of our opinions and our viewpoints, because obviously, we're both from different backgrounds and, different ethnic backgrounds, and, we've had probably different upbringings and so on. And I don't disagree with what my friend said. A lot of the time I actually think that she had a point with a lot of things. There were some things I didn't agree on. But this is the thing, especially with things like Facebook and other social media sites. It's like you're not allowed to have an opinion that contradicts somebody else's. And yeah, alright, this person and I are really, really good friends. Doesn't mean we have to agree on everything. Quite the contrary, in fact. I mean, it's quite sort of healthy to have differences of opinion. It really is. Because you know then that relationship that you have with that person is a genuine relationship. You know, there's nothing false about it. You know, and sometimes having the courage to turn around and say, you know, actually I don't agree with that, is a big thing. It is a really, really big thing. And that's the point I got to back in January, when I had to turn around and say, you know what, I need help. And that was a big thing. Those three words, those three little words were so hard for me to say for so long that I didn't know where to go to get the help. But you know, I bit the bullet and I swallowed my pride and I said, look, I'm going to go and get whatever help and support that I need to get through this. And I will get through it. I will. I'll get through it and I'll be better than ever. I know I will be. Anyway, this has been going on for about 11 and a half minutes now, so it's a bit of a long one, I'm afraid. Okay then, that's my state of play. As I say, I'm doing okay this morning so far, so I will speak to you later. It'll probably be sort of early to mid-evening, I think. Excuse me. But yeah, I'm doing alright today. Okay then, speak to you later. Bye.